Welcome back, and that's the cover of the book Drought of the Heart. The Lord had that in my mind, and the publisher was able to, I don't know, the Lord just worked in mysterious ways in that little book. But let's finish this up. You know, nature happened at the cross, earthquakes, eclipse, thunder, and I don't know what your first thoughts were on those words, but God bless you if they were scripture. Like famines and droughts, there's several famous ones in scripture where God reminds the people who brings rain and who takes it away. Amos 4, 1 Kings, with Elijah. And one of the most famous droughts is with Joseph, right? In Genesis 47, where God brought a family back together. Did we ever think about droughts bringing us back together as family? What was your answer? And pestilence, like flu, that we just faced this past winter, did we ever think about, okay, you know, that's one of the signs when Jesus returns in the end days? We either believe God is sovereign or not. Colossians 1:16 says, "For by him were all things created, that are in heaven, that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him." You know, we give way too much credit on blaming things as natural events or Satan, and not even looking at our own sin and what God might be saying. Earth is God's footstool. Isaiah 66:1 tells us that. I only have to go to the book of Job and read those conversations to be reminded that we can think that we're good and upright and we're doing this and we're doing that. But God is not our equal. And until we die, He's still working junk out of us. We're not perfect. And He doesn't do things like we would. He doesn't teach like we teach. How many of us would send our only child to the cross? Or allow Job to go through all he went through, after even being described as upright, escheweth evil, perfect, right? God from the beginning spoke through and used His creations, and not listening in the garden got us kicked out into these thistles, thorns, droughts, and earthquakes. We have the whole story. You know, the flood of Noah probably knew God more in nature than anyone, right? And Jesus tells us in Luke 17, in the end days, we're going to be like those people, not watching, not knowing, not understanding, just going on with our business as if nothing is happening. Every flood should remind us of Noah and why God did that. One of my favorite places to see how God uses nature is in the book of Exodus with Moses and Pharaoh. Did you know God in Exodus 3:20 says that He calls those things that He did His signs and His wonders? Things that we would think of just absolutely scary until the return of Jesus. Not just a cloud or a rainbow, but floods, droughts, wars, epidemics, earthquakes are to remind us this is not our home. And of that great day He will return in those clouds He created. That's how He speaks to us. I pray that this has helped. I know it helped me. As these things will increase, as we're told in Scripture. And I only have to look at the news, over the past year after the eclipse to see increase. I would love to be Job at the end of my life, where something comes and, just takes all that I have, and I immediately react as Job did in chapter 1 and just worship God. And I pray that when sickness comes, that we learn from Job and have the response that Job had after all those chapters when God started blessing them again. In Job 40, Job finally, in verse 4, says, "Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay my hands upon my mouth." We're a feel-good generation, and just like Job in the beginning, we call each other good. We pat each other on the back. We hand out trophies and ribbons, and just... Jesus said he was not even good. My tiny book, as some people have called it, was for one purpose, and that was to lead us back to his book. The Lord showed me we've listened to human noise so long we don't even know how to listen to him anymore. It was said to me once, why don't you write something that somebody wants to read? If the Bible alone does not entertain us, then maybe we should be concerned as Jesus was. Would he find faith? I spent most of my life seeking answers and happiness in the noise of this world. Trying to seek happiness in humans, other books, answers in other books, cars, homes, money, vacations. And God allowed me to have those things like Job, but I saw in my life they could be gone in a wind or a fire. Our lives as Job is not ours. We're here for God's purpose. Thank you for listening.